Okay, so I'm just in the process of getting these colonies ready for winter. So they're all put together now. You'll notice the two on the left, there's a lot more activity, especially the one center left. Likely the main reason is a bit later queen rearing, and a lot of those bees are like late summer bees, forager bees, so a lot of those bees will be dying soon. The other two, I did open them up because I put a bunch of sensors in there. Clusters weren't massive, but basically the double at the far right had a box and a half of bees, which is plenty. They were really comfortable, no moisture, no nothing, so that extra top insulation is working well. And the single here next to the double on the right, I was worried about that one, but the cluster actually looked pretty good. So and I did put sensors above the slatted rack and below the slatted rack, so when I was using my power bar to lift the back of the hive up, I had a look, and the bees are basically spanning right to the bottom, which is good. So they're not massive clusters, but they should be fine for the season. I'll add some fondant because I've got lots of Hive Live fondant there. I'll add some fondant into that colony because it's the lightest one. It is a single, but I'd like it a bit heavier, so I'll probably add 2 kg of Hive Live in there. 2 kg, so about 5 pounds. And I'll fill that cavity up, so I'll make a paste there and just stick it in the feeding slot. Next step is I'll just wait for a colder day. It's about 15 degrees right now. So I do have a feeder in the garden, an outside feeder. So these bees are foraging for liquid feed just to keep them busy, so they have somewhere to go, they don't bother the neighbors. What I'll do next is I'll add the bubble foil wrap. I'll add extra insulation on either side just to fill in this cavity on both sides. And then I'll put my styrofoam in the back, and then I'll just use my impact and screw that piece of plywood on the other side. And that's that. So basically the east, west, north walls have extra insulation, and my condensing wall is the south facing wall. And then with the open screen bottom board, any fluids will just flow down, so should be good. I've got enough filler styrofoam to fill either ends, and it's basically, it won't hurt to have uber insulation on either side. It'll only help. So, and the goal is thermally stable and the least stress on the bees as possible. And what I may do is just put a strip of styrofoam out front, front to front, and just leave the bottom 6 inches free, so any condensation happens on that surface. So as I start the hard winter preps, I'll show you guys. Cheers. So if you've got old chicken feeders lying around, you can just stick them out there with some floats there so the bees don't drown too much. So it's actually a good way of just filling in the space between I guess the end of the season and start of winter. But I'd say make sure there's not any other beekeepers in the area, because they may not want their bees to be fed with liquid syrup. So just a word of note. But these are gallon feeders. I did put a 1 liter feeder first, but they chomped that down in about a day. I just leave them outside, and once the snow falls, I'll just flip them over and put them back in a bucket for use in spring. But because we've had our first snowfall, it's starting to get cold. Today is probably our last fall day, and then things will start graying up, and I'm assuming we'll start getting colder. So anyways, if you've got chickens, you probably have a feeder you can use.